Hey, what's up, and welcome back to another build tutorial, where today I'm going to show you how to build your own bakery in Minecraft. And this is filled with loads of treats, ranging from cookies to pastries. And before I start this tutorial, I'd really appreciate it if you consider giving that like button a little smash, as it does help me out, and I do highly appreciate that. But with all that said, let's start building. Here are all the materials that you will need. This does include some custom heads, but I'll show you how to get them later in the video. And the plot of land you will need is 15 by 21 blocks. So first up, I'm just going to grab myself some grey concrete and then come into the bottom right hand corner here. Just from this point here, I'm just going to place one grey concrete there and extend that by another 2 blocks, so it's 3 long. And then going to leave a gap of 3 and then going to place another 3 grey concrete just there. And then I'm just going to extend each of these points so they're 5 blocks high in total. And the next up, I'm now going to grab myself some white concrete, and then just at these 2 points here just on the side, I'm just going to place 2 white concrete there, and then again building that up so it's 5 blocks high. And then after that, I'm now going to grab myself some birch planks, and then just from this point here, I'm going to build across 6 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 just there. And then just going around, I'm going to extend this point by another 3 blocks. And then just moving along here, I'm going to place another birch plank there, but this time I'm going to place 5, including that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 just there. And then I'm just going to repeat this another 10 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. So you should end up with something that looks like this. And then just moving around from this point just there, I'm going to place another 5 birch planks just going across there. And then I'm just going to extend the rest of this up so we're level with everything else. And then after that, moving back to the white concrete, we should line up with that point over there. And I'm just going to place another 2 white concrete there and then just build that up. And the next up, moving back to the grey concrete, I'm going to place another 3 just going along there. Then from that point, I'm going to place another 4 in that direction, and then just another 2 just coming out there. And then I'm just going to build this part up again, just so it's 5 blocks high, level with everything else. And then after that, from this point, I'm then going to place another 4 grey concrete, and then just building that up. And then after that, going 4 blocks across, moving back to the white concrete, I'm just going to place 5 going up. Just there. And then going to leave it a gap of 3. And then on the end here, I'm just going to place another 2 grey concrete. And then just build that up. So next up, I'm now going to start filling in the floor for our bakery. So for the floor, I'm going to be using some polished deep slate. And then just starting from this middle bit of the entrance here. Just from that point, I'm just going to fill in the whole of this grass area. And as you're doing this, once you come to this kind of back bit where it's sticking inwards, I'm only going to place polished deep slate kind of on each of the ends, and I'm just going to leave this hollow bit in the middle there, which I'm going to dig out because that's going to be where our bakery oven's going to go. So with the floor all done, I can now start adding the windows. So for this, I'm going to be using some black stained glass panes. So firstly, I'm just going to fill up this front window to begin with. So you should get something that looks like that, and that's where all the pastries and lovely stuff is going to be displayed. And then if I come down to the other side, I'm just going to fill up these 2 side windows as well. And then moving to the front here where the entrance is going to be, I'm going to place 1 pane on each side. And then after that, I'm then going to grab myself a diorite wall. I'm just going to place 1 wall on top of each glass pane there. And then I'm just going to place another 3 panes on top. Just then. And that will form our entrance. Oh, and while I'm at it, let's use some more of that deep slate to just cover these gaps as well. So next up, before I continue on the building, I'm just going to make the outside area look better. So for that, first thing, I'm just going to grab myself some smooth stone. And then just where this grey wall border is that I showed you at the start of the video, I'm just going to replace all of that with this smooth stone to begin with. So I'm just going to do that going all the way around, replacing all of it. And then once all of that has been replaced, I'm just going to fill up all of these extra grass areas. And that'll leave you with something that looks like this. And then for some extra detail, I'm going to add some bushes outside. So for that, I'm going to grab myself some spruce leaves. And then just from this point here, I'm just going to place 4 at the front. And then just going around to the other side, starting from this point here, I'm going to place some more leaves going across, just until I'm 1 block away from that point just there. So next up, moving back to the actual bakery here. So next, I'm going to grab myself some more white concrete. And then just from this point here, I'm just going to place another 2 on top. And then I'm just going to extend these 2 points across by 7 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. You should end up with this kind of upside down L shape kind of thing. And then moving around, just from these 2 points here, I'm going to place another 2 white concrete. And I'm just going to extend this going all the way across. Just until 1 block is sticking out. Just on that end just there. And then moving around from those 2 points, extending this across until I join with this white pillar just there. And the next up, sticking with the white concrete, just from this bottom left hand corner just here, I'm just going to place 5 concrete going up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Just like that. And then just coming to the top right hand side of that, I'm just going to place another 7 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Just like that. And then just coming around, from this point, I'm just going to place another 5 blocks going up. And I'm just going to repeat this going all the way along until I reach the end of this side. So yeah, just building the white wall just until I reach the end just there. And then just going around from that top corner there, I'm just going to place another 7 white concrete going along there. So it should line up with this bottom section just there. Next up, I'm now going to grab myself some light grey concrete and then just come to the front section here. From this point just there, so 1 in, I'm just going to place 7 concrete going across. Just like that. And then I'm just going to build that up so it's 4 blocks high in total. And that will create a little wall just there. And I'm just going to mirror that on the other side. So from that point, building across 7 blocks and then just building that up. Just like that. And then next up, moving back to the grey concrete, just coming to the entrance area there. Just at the top, at this section, I'm just going to place 3 grey concrete on that side, and then 3 grey concrete on the other side there. And then just where these doors are, I'm just going to place a row of 3 in the middle there. And then just going in around to the other side. From that point, I'm just going to build this across until I end up there. And then just going around, extending the rest of the wall up. Just there. And then moving back to the front, sticking with our grey concrete. From these 3 blocks here, I'm just going to extend this up by 6 blocks. Just so it's 1 block higher than this white section there. I'm just going to mirror that on this other side. So you should end up with these 2 pillars, which are each 3 blocks thick. And then I'm just going to join these together at the top. Just like so. And next up, just moving around, I'm just going to extend the rest of this section of the wall that I'm pointing to here. I'm just going to extend all of that so it's level with this section just there. So starting from this point, I'm just going to build it all the way up. So just extending this whole section so it's 6 blocks higher. So I'm just following along wherever there is grey concrete. So you should end up with something that looks like this. So next up for the sealing of the interior. So for this, firstly, moving to the white concrete. At this back area to begin with, firstly I'm just going to place 6 white concrete just there. And then coming to the entrance area, I'm just going to place 1 row there. And then just from this point here, I'm going to place some white concrete going along just till I reach that point. And then from that point, placing a row of white concrete in this direction. And then rotating around again and then placing some more white concrete along just to meet with that bit there. So as you see, I've just placed kind of like an N shape of all of the white concrete. And then just moving to what's behind me. From that point, I'm just going to place a row of white concrete to bridge these 2 areas together. And the next up, coming back to this point just here, so near where the doors are, I'm going to place another row of white concrete just there, thickening that side up. Then going around another row on that side, thicken that bit up, and then going around again another row on that side to thicken that bit up. So next up, I'm now going to start marking out where each of the lights are going to go. So for this, if I just go to this point here, and then I'm just going to go 1 left of it, place some white concrete, return to the middle point, and then go right, and then place another one. And then extend each of these points by another block. And then I'm just going to place 1 white concrete on each side there. And the next up, coming to the left hand side, I'm just going to place 2 white concrete there and extend that across so I reach the other side just there. And then I'm going to do, and I'm just going to repeat the kind of pattern that I've done over there. So again, white concrete there, leaving a gap, and then another 2, leaving a gap, another 2, leaving a gap, and then 1 on the end there. And then after that, same as before, placing 2 white concrete there and extending it across to the other side. And then repeating this pattern once more. 1 white concrete there, leaving a gap, place 2, leave a gap, place another 2, leaving a gap, and then just place 1 on the end there. And that will mark out the areas where all of our lights are going to go. So to fill these lights up, I'm going to grab myself some white stained glass. And first, I'm just going to fill each of these holes in with all of it. So you should get something that looks like that. And the next, I'm then going to grab myself some glowstone. And I'm just going to place 1 bit of glowstone on top of each glass block there. And as you see, as you come inside, you see they make a nice kind of like light design there. So next up, just to finish off the roof, just where these top points of these grey walls are, starting on this one here, I'm just going to place 7 light grey concrete just coming out of it. And then I'm just going to extend this all the way along just until I meet up with the other grey wall on the other side. So you should end up with a light grey roof that looks like this. And then after that, moving back to the grey concrete. From this point here, I'm going to place a row of grey concrete going along to that side there. And I'm just going to extend this row up by another 2 blocks. So just doing that all the way across. And then after that, I'm just going to fill in this hollow area with the rest of all of this concrete. So next up, we're now going to add some extra detail to the roof. And for that, I'm going to be adding some extractor fans. So for this, I'm going to grab myself some stone to begin with. And then just starting on this block here. So 3 blocks away from each side. Just going to place 1 bit of stone just there. Then I'm going to place 1 next to that. And then 2 on top to form a 2x2 square there. And then I'm just going to repeat this design another 3 times. I'm just going to leave a gap of 1 in between each. So you should get something that looks like this. And the next, I'm now going to grab myself some stone walls. And then with these, I'm just going to place 1 wall in these gaps on the right hand side there. And then coming to this point here, and then it's going to place another 2 stone walls coming out of that top bit just there. And then for the final detail, I'm then going to grab myself some rails. And I'm just going to place 4 on top of each bit of stone. And that will form our vent system. So now, before moving on to the interior, it's now time to add some of the extra details on the outside. First up, I'm going to show you how to make a canopy design for the entrance bit just here. So for that, I'm going to need 2 types of wall, and that's going to be white wall and some light grey wall. So just come into this canopy area, just this hollow section. Starting with the white wall, I'm just going to place 1 white wall, 1 block in on the left hand side there. And then I'm going to place a light grey, 1 next to that, and then some more white wall on the end there. And then I'm just going to extend each of these points down by 1 block. And then I'm going to repeat this design, but I'm just going to place it 1 block outwards each time I do it. So I'm going to be doing this twice. So for the first time, 2 white wall, 2 grey wall, and then another 2 white wall. Just like that. And repeating that once more, again, just coming out by 1 there. 2 white wall, 2 grey wall, and then 2 white wall just on the end there. And that'll give us our canopy design. And then one little final detail, moving back to the grey concrete. As you see, there's like a little gap here. So I'm just going to fill in this little bit by placing another 3 concrete just there to neaten that bit off. So next up, I'm now going to show you how to create the big croissant sign for our bakery. So for this, I'm going to grab myself some birch planks, some birch slabs, and also some birch stairs. So firstly, starting with the birch slab, come into this second block at the left-hand corner there. I'm just going to place 1 slab to begin with. And then on top of that slab, I'm going to add a birch stair. And then just next to that stair, I'm then going to add a birch plank there. And then I'm going to add a slab on top of that birch plank. And then next to the birch block there, I'm then going to add an upside down stair. And then on top of that stair, I'm going to add a birch plank. And then after that, I'm then going to place a slab next to that. And then underneath the slab, a whole birch plank. And then a birch stair next to that block there. And then underneath the stair, just adding a slab. And that'll give us our croissant sign. And I've just reminded myself, I'm just going to add some extra leaves at the back here. So just in that corner there, I'm going to place 3 in like a mini L shape there. And coming to the other side, I'm then going to place 3 going across, and then 1 just drooping down there. And then just at the bottom here, I'm then going to place 4 in the middle bit, just there. So with all of the details added on the outside, that is the exterior of our bakery complete. So now moving on to the interior. So first up, I'm going to be neatening off all of the walls here. So I call this method Minecraft wallpapering. So for this, I'm going to grab myself some grey concrete. And first up, what I'm going to do, starting from this point here, I'm just going to place grey concrete going all the way around. Just until I line up with that bit of grey concrete just there. And then moving back to this side, I'm just going to place some grey concrete to cover that section up. And then from that point there, I'm then going to place this concrete going all the way around. Meet up at that point. And I'm just going to repeat this for the rest of the wall. So you should end up with something that looks like this. And that's why I call it wallpapering, as it makes your interior walls look a little bit neater. So next up, I'm going to show you how to create the big bakery oven for this place. So firstly, I'm just going to grab myself some iron blocks. And I'm just going to fill the whole of this back wall with all of these iron blocks. Just there. And the next up, I'm then going to grab myself some campfires. And then I'm going to place 3 at the bottom there. And the next up, I'm then going to grab myself some iron trapdoors. And then I'm just going to place 3 at the bottom there. And then another 3 2 blocks up just there. And after that, I'm just going to grab myself a cake. And I'm just going to place 1 on top of each iron trapdoor. Just there. And next up, I'm then going to grab myself a stone brick wall. And I'm going to place 3 at the bottom. And then leaving a gap, and then 3 in the middle. And then leaving a gap, and then 3 just at the top there. And then finally, for the oven windows, I'm then just going to grab myself some black stained glass panes. I'm just going to fill in these areas with all of it. And then for some of the oven controls, firstly I'm going to grab myself a lever. I'm just going to place one lever at the top and then one lever at the bottom. Just going to flick those both down. And then next I'm going to grab myself an item frame. I'm going to place one at the top there and then one at the bottom. I'm going to fill each item frame with a compass. Placing a compass inside each item frame there. And to finish off, I'm just going to add a button in the middle there. By adding all of this, that gives us the controls for the oven. So next up, I'm going to make the main counter area. So for that, I'm going to grab myself some white concrete. So starting at this point here, I'm just going to build this across 9 blocks in total. Just till I reach there. And then moving around, I'm going to leave a gap or 2 and then place one more white concrete on that side there. And then for the entrance, I'm going to grab myself 2 iron trapdoors and place one on either side. And then I'm going to grab myself a lever. And then just hopping over here to the back, I'm going to place one lever there where you can open the door. And then next, for some of the countertop, I'm going to grab myself some black carpet. And I'm just going to place, firstly, one bit of black carpet on each side of where the trapdoors are. And then leaving a gap or 2, placing one more black carpet just there. And then in that gap, I'm going to add the cashier area. So for that, I'm going to grab myself a birch pressure plate and some stone brick stairs. So I'm going to place the stone brick stairs just on the right hand side there. And then next to it, a birch pressure plate. So next up, I'm now going to show you how to make the window where all of the goods are displayed. So firstly, going across 5 blocks. And then just behind the 5th block there, I'm going to place one white concrete. And then next, I'm going to grab myself some cauldrons. I'm just going to place 4 just there. And after that, I'm going to grab myself some black stained glass panes. And then I'm just going to place 5 going across just there. And then 1 just going inwards there. And then next up, for some heat lamps, I'm going to grab myself a chain, a lantern, and also an iron trapdoor, which I've already got here. So for this, firstly, just on top of this second cauldron here, I'm just going to place 1 chain above that. And then leaving a gap for 1, I'm going to place another chain on the other side. And then underneath each chain, I'm going to add myself a lantern with a trapdoor just underneath. And now I'll add some nice heat lamps to our bakery there. So now moving into the main kitchen area. Now I'm going to show you how to make the stand mixer here. So for that, firstly, I'm just going to place 3 white concrete just there with 1 bit of black carpet just on the end there. So for this stand mixer, I'm going to grab myself some block of iron to begin with. So for the stand mixer, firstly, I'm going to grab myself a block of iron. I'm just going to place 2 just in the corner there. And the next, I'm going to grab myself an armor stand because this is going to act as the mixing part. I'm just going to place 1 armor stand just there. And the next, for the mixing bowl, I'm going to add a cauldron just there. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to push this down into the armor stand. So to do that, I'm going to grab myself a piston and a redstone block. I'm going to place the piston on top of the cauldron. And then a redstone block next to that. I'm going to push that down 1 notch. And then I'm going to repeat that. So moving the piston down. Redstone block next to that. Pushing that. As you see, that will push the cauldron into the armor stand. And then for the top of the mixer, I'm going to grab myself a quartz slab. Smooth one. And I'm just going to place 1 there. And then doing the same thing with the cauldron. Placing a piston on the side. Redstone block. And that will push the slab into the armor stand just there. And then just to finish off on top, I'm going to add 2 iron trapdoors. But again, this trapdoor won't go on that block because the armor stand's there. So again, using the piston method, pushing that in. And then finally, I'm just going to add 1 stone button just on the side there. And then using the black carpet, adding a bit of countertop just in front there. And next up, I'm then going to add some shelves where some of the bread's going to be displayed. So for that, I'm going to place, firstly, 2 white concrete coming out with some black carpet on top for some extra countertop. And then I'm going to place 4 white concrete just going up, leaving a gap of 2, and then placing another 4 white concrete. And then for the actual shelving, I'm going to use some deep slate tile stairs. I'm just going to place 8 in the middle, just there. And then moving to the side of that, I'm going to add a fridge. So for that, I'm going to need 6 pistons. So I'm just going to place 3 on one side, and then 3 on the other side. And that'll give us a nice big fridge design there. And next up, I'm going to add some extra display shelves for this area here. So for that, I'm going to grab myself some smooth quartz slabs. And starting from this point here, I'm going to place 4 going across. And then I'm going to place another one just coming out of the end there. And then I'm just going to repeat this another 2 times, leaving a half block gap in between each of them. So before I stock this bakery up, I'm going to show you how to create a cookie banner to decorate this place with. So for this banner design, you're going to need a brown banner, 2 orange dye, and 3 white dye. So for this cookie banner, I'm just going to place the loom down to begin with. And first, I'm just going to add the brown banner inside with both of the orange dye. So firstly, I'm just going to add the brick pattern to begin with. And then after that, I'm then going to add a stripe pattern. So next up, I'm going to add all of our white dye in there. Firstly, I'm just going to add top white stripe just there. And then I'm going to add the bottom white stripe. And to finish off, I'm going to add this fancy pattern there. And by doing that, that'll give us our lovely cookie banner. So to decorate, I'm just going to add 1 just on the outside there. And I'm also going to add 1 inside in the kitchen area as well. So next up, I'm going to stock up this display area just here. So firstly, for that, I'm going to grab myself a cake. I'm just going to place 1 cake just on top of the first cauldron here. And then for these other 3 sections, I'm going to be using some custom heads. And they've changed the whole website now, so it is looking a little bit different. So I thought I'd show you how to do it step by step. And these custom heads are only available on Java Edition, which, yes, Bedrock users, I hear you, it sucks, I know. Hopefully there'll be a way of getting them in the game at some point. But if you are on Bedrock, feel free to just add more cake along, because I still think that does look quite nice. So let's add some nice treats to our bakery. So for this, I'm just at minecraftheads.com. As you see, there's a little search section here. So firstly, I'm just going to search for the first head I want, which is going to be a croissant. And you should get this icon that comes up there. So I'm just going to click on that. Now, depending on what version you're using, you can change it just in this section here. So as you see, they are for Java Edition. So at the minute, I am using 1.19 just because I have got a few extra stuff with it. So at the minute, I am still using 1.19. So I'm just going to grab that. Then I'm just going to copy that command by pressing that button there. And if I head back into Minecraft, I'm going to give myself a command block by doing give at p and then Minecraft :command block just there. Entering, that'll give me a command block. And placing that down, I'm just going to paste in that command that we got from the website. Just there. And if I give myself a stone button, just activate that command block. And that'll give me the croissant head. So I'm just going to place that in the first slot. Just there. So it's literally the same process for all of the other heads. So returning to minecraftheads.com, let's search for our next head, which is going to be some cookies. So if I type that in, the one that I'm looking for is this one, so a plate of cookies there. So I'm just going to select that, and then again, copy in the command for our version, pasting the command in, and that'll give us our plate of cookies there. And then again, let's add these lovely cookies to our display area just there. And then for our final head, this is going to be a donut. So I'm just going to add donut, just going to search that. And then we've got a nice donut here. I'm going to choose the white one. But feel free to experiment with these heads. You know, you might want to choose different ones from me. I think that'd be quite cool if we change it up a little bit. But these are just the ones that I'm choosing. So yeah, so I like this one. So again, copying that command. And then heading back into Minecraft, destroying the command block. Give ourselves a new one. Paste the command in. Press the button. That'll give us our donut head. And then we can place that just on top of the cauldron there. But as you see, by adding all of these, that'll give us a nice, fully stocked up display area for our bakery. So next up, I'm now going to stock up these shelves. And for this, I'm going to be using some invisible item frames. So to give yourself an invisible item frame, you just use this command. I'll put this in the description. So if I enter that, that'll give us our invisible item frame. But as you see, as you place it, you can't see it. But if you are in Bedrock, there is a slightly different way of doing it. My favourite way to do this in Bedrock is using a texture pack to give yourself an invisible item frame. One video that does explain this quite well is Chazzy Boy's video. He goes through this in a lot more detail. So if you want to have invisible item frames in Bedrock, I definitely recommend checking him out. So now let's get all of our shelves stocked up. So firstly, for the bread area, using these item frames, I'm just going to place these on top of each stair. And the next, I'm going to grab myself some bread. And I'm just going to fill each item frame with all that bread. So next up, for the display area, again, I'm going to be using these invisible item frames. But I'm also going to need some cookies, some cake, and also a pumpkin pie. So firstly, just in the inside here, with these invisible item frames, I'm just going to place one in front of each slab. Just there. And then firstly, on the bottom row, I'm going to fill that with some cake. And then I'm going to fill the middle with some lovely cookies there. And then the top with some nice pie. Just there. So as you see, it does look very nice in the inside, but as you come outside, you can't really see it as much. So the way we're going to do this, we're also going to add item frames at the front section. But we do have an issue at the minute, because at the minute it is all blocked off with glass. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to temporarily destroy these 2 blocks just at the front there. And also I'm just going to destroy 1 block on that side just there. Just temporarily. And then with some item frames, I'm just going to firstly place one in front of each slab. And then doing the same on the other side. And then once they're placed, I can then stock the rest of the shelves up. So on the bottom area, let's add some more nice cake. Just on these item frames along the bottom row. And then the same with the cookies. And then again with the pumpkin pie. Just like that. And then once everything has been filled, I'm just going to fix these windows. But yeah, there we have it. With all of the bakery stocked up, that is the bakery all complete. So I hope you did enjoy this tutorial. And if you did, I'd highly appreciate a little smash on that like button, as it does help me out. And I'd highly appreciate that. But yeah, I hope you are pleased with your final result. But until next time, thanks for watching and have a good day.